Good morning, good day, good evening. I'm as always your host, Brodie Robertson, and today we are here for episode 79 of Take of a Tea, and we have a returning guest again. Today we are here with Christian Lemper, otherwise known as The Digital Life. Welcome back to the show. And I just realized I was supposed to show your channel while I was saying that, but I didn't. Now you can see the channel. How you doing, man?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. And thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome to be here again.
no, it's always
nice.
awesome to talk to you as well. It's like,
Thanks.
if there's one person I can chat about like just random YouTube stuff for like 2 hours, and somehow manage to make it interesting, I think that you're definitely on that very very short list.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks. And yeah, we did that the last days. I think, right?
Yeah,
We
and
had
that's
a
pretty
chat
much
about stuff.
what I've got as my topics this time as well. So I think that's going to be what we talk about again.
Awesome. Great.
But before we get into that, do you know what today is? Today is an important day in the tech world.
Really?
Yeah,
I
it
have
is.
no idea.
Oh,
And I
I
probably should have.
didn't think you would. So I'm gonna bring up an email. Let's see if we can find it. So, I should have brought it up before. Okay, so people can see it on the screen, but you can't see it. So, I'm going to read this out to you. So, hello everybody out there using Minix. I'm doing a free operating system, just a hobby. Won't be a big professional like GNU for 386, 486 AT clones. This has been brewing since April and is starting to get ready. I'd like any feedback on things people like/dislike in Minix, as my OS resembles it somewhat. Same physical layout of the file system due to practical reasons, among other things. And this email was sent by Linus Benedict Torvalds on August 25th, 30 years ago.
Wow.
This is the first email he sent about starting up the Linux project.
Cool. Oh, that's an important thing.
It's not the date that the project first started. I believe that was October 10th is when the first version came out, or October 11th. But it's still a very important day for Linux in the tech world, that's for sure.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't really know where I was going to go with that topic, to be honest. I know you've done occasional videos talking about the you know what, here we go. I'm like a home Linux user, and that's sort of like what I focus my channel around. You sort of focus more on, I guess I should have probably introduced like what you do on your channel. You focus on like doing stuff in like the tech industry and like how you can upskill yourself with that, and like what sort of stuff you would probably need to know if you want to actually like get anywhere in that industry. So if you were going to give someone like one reason, because like people will say, oh, learning Linux is important for like doing stuff in the tech world, but obviously not every position out there is going to have like Linux as being something important. But if you were to say like one career path where you think that like Linux is a fundamental skill to have, what do you think that would be?
Well, I can think of quite a few paths where Linux is a fundamental skill, and to be honest, I think that will become even more important in the future. So I've covered that on my channel as well. I think because I do a lot of DevOps topics on my channel, basically talking about sysadmin or operations integration with development processes, and I think those kind of paths, Linux is just a very fundamental skill, as well as in cybersecurity. So for those of you who don't know, I'm working for a cybersecurity company 5 years now, and
Wow.
that's where I started to work with Linux more professionally, because I knew about Linux before, but I wasn't really using it because before I was working in cybersecurity, I was working as an IT support technician, I would call, and I worked a lot with desktop support, like on Windows, setting up Windows servers and all this stuff. And once I moved into cybersecurity, because I needed to support firewall systems and those kinds of products, they were based on a Linux operating system. So the product that I'm mainly working with in my company is based on Linux. And when you need to troubleshoot those systems, you need to just know the basic tools.
Absolutely.
First things that I learned is how the system works and how to analyze log files, how to use tools like grep, set, and org, and those kind of things to just go through log files and filter for specific events or whatever. And of course, also some of the underlying concepts like system services or IP tables and all this stuff. And I think, yeah, it doesn't really matter if you're a cybersecurity guy or DevOps guy or even a sysadmin. Linux is really important. And also for cloud administration, obviously, because a lot of the stuff in the cloud is powered by Linux, right? I think like I did it once in a video when I researched that like over 90% of the global organizations are using Linux for cloud and servers and this kind of stuff. And that's, yeah, I always try to emphasize that a bit on my channel because people might not know this because I always hear people talking about the Linux market share and those things like, hey, we have like a 2 or 3% market share. Oh, it
like
increased.
A big thing with like some of the Linux YouTubers who are like, Linux has hit 1% in the Steam hardware survey.
Yeah. I was supposed to say that. We got 1% more. Linux is crushing it and whatever. I don't know. But most people, are, especially beginners in IT, they probably don't realize that Linux is already a big thing, or in servers, it always was a big thing for decades, right? It's and when you ever administrated a Windows server or try to set up a web server on Windows, you think, oh man, this is so much easier on Linux, and that's why companies are, of course, using that. And therefore, I think Linux is one of these skills that I think is fundamentally important for many different career paths. And I always try to identify those things and cover them on my channel because I believe that will help the most people when I just talk about topics like this.
Well, even in cases like companies such as Microsoft, there was a lot of Linux articles coming out when Microsoft released CBL Marina over on GitHub, and people were like, "Oh my god, Microsoft is using a Linux distribution!" Like, yeah. Well, like, what do you expect? Do you think they're gonna host all of their stuff on like Windows servers? Even they know that Windows servers are not going to be useful for everything.
Yeah, they use Linux a lot, obviously. I mean, probably that even got a huge increase once they started to work on their cloud infrastructure with Microsoft Azure. A lot of this stuff is powered on Linux servers there. They make no secret about this, right? And obviously they also need to use these tools and they need to work on a daily basis with these tools. And I think that was probably one of the decisions why they brought up WSL and those kind of tools, because they just realized, okay, Linux is a thing. We need to use Linux or to power our systems, and why not just invest into that field and use the Linux tools for our stuff as well. And I think this is actually a good idea. I really love WSL. I covered that on my channel as well and showed that in a video how I did my Windows development setup with WSL and so on. And I really just like to use Linux tools. I still use a lot of Linux tools on a daily basis when I work, such as just some simple tools like TCP dump or for reading log files, or I just use the terminal tools like org and set and grep and those kind of things. I'm just used to it. And PowerShell was always a bit weird to me. That's something I probably would need to get into, but I never used it. I was always used to the Linux way of doing things in a terminal. So
well, hey, if you really get into PowerShell, you can run it on Linux if you really want to.
Yeah, I know. And I probably should, but I don't have a real use case in my home lab for this stuff right now. I probably will when I try out new things, but currently I'm totally fine with WSL and Linux terminal, so that does everything I need.
Well, that was another thing where I was really confused why people were surprised about CBL Marina, because they'd already were using it in WSL. So the way that GUI apps work under WSL2 is they have your user distro. So if you install like, I don't know, Ubuntu, Debian, whatever you have is like the distro you picked, and then they'll run CBL Marina alongside of that to run Xorg and Wayland, and that's how they'll actually get the apps to spawn their actual windows. So they were already using that publicly, but everyone just forgot about that. But speaking of WSL2, WSL and WSL2, I guess, where do you actually, like, if we're just theory crafting, like, what do you see as where do you see WSL going in the future, and what sort of importance do you see it actually having in these, like, various IT fields? Obviously, it's not going to affect something that is purely Linux-based. Like, if you're doing nothing but, like, Linux server administration, I don't see any reason why you would migrate over to WSL, but if it's something where you were maybe doing some of your work on Windows and some of your work on Linux, how do you see that actually changing that field?
Well, I can just talk about how I use it and use that as an example. And I think most people will actually use it the same, right? So what I do, or what I recently did a lot, was working with Docker and Linux workloads. And I played around with setting up my own Docker images and develop some applications. I have written my own Discord bot in Python, and I deployed this in a Docker container. And when you do development work, you need to test this a lot. And you can actually set up your development setup with WSL very easily, because it is very well integrated with all these services like Docker. And I recently started to look at Kubernetes as well, because you can easily just set up a Kubernetes cluster, or just like a development cluster with just one simple click in the Docker desktop app, and then it's powered by WSL, everything works, and you can natively work on that system and develop your applications the same way like you would deploy them on a cloud infrastructure. And this is where I think the best use case, or the most powerful use case, is what people will do. Because when you want to develop an app, or maybe you are just testing some deployment scripts, like when in the DevOps world, you probably work a lot with Ansible or those kind of automation tools. You can easily test that on your own workstation before you deploy this in production, and the process is nearly the same. Before that, you would need to emulate that somehow, right? We had Cygwin and those kind of things, but they were not like a native Linux environment. And then you always have these problems of you have some gaps or some things that don't work quite as in the cloud or the real environment. And now you can natively work on your workstation and develop like you would do that on the real production system. And I think this is a huge benefit. This makes things a lot easier.
I don't. You said a lot there. Like,
yeah, probably. We can dive deeper into that stuff. Sure.
That, I think that answered exactly what I was asking. Yeah. I don't know how to segue from that. You know, we'll just a hard segue. Doesn't even matter. Both of us have sort of like really changed the way we sort of structure our videos since the last time we talked. So I was just looking at we're gonna go straight into the YouTube stuff, and probably talk about it for the rest of the episode. So the last time you were on was about 5 months ago. I'll send you a link to it just so you can remember what your scene looked like. Wow, mine looked really bad. Let's see. Where'd my Discord window? I have the video window.
5 months ago. I'm just thinking about it. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed a lot the background and added the audio.
But
what is it called? The audio panels or whatever.
Yeah.
It is called.
I think the way that you've got it framed now is actually way, way better. And actually, kind of the reason I changed the way that my camera is angled is because I feel like every time I look at one of your videos, I realize that what I'm doing is seriously lacking.
Oh man. Thanks, but to be honest, I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm still experimenting a lot.
I know that
and it will probably change in the future as well. So it's like I don't know, but I always had this idea of creating this look for my videos. Because I just saw that on other channel, was inspired obviously by some of the other creators, and but I also wanted to come up with my own look and style. And I also changed a lot on my channel, the way it looks. I changed the channel banner, I think like 10 times since
I
I
see.
started
Yeah,
the
I
channel.
did notice you
Yeah,
have
people
another
are
new
making
one.
fun of it already. It's kind of like, hey, how long is this channel banner going to be? I don't know. But I honestly feel that I something has changed since I changed the overall look and feel, because I now have a much clearer vision
Mm.
or idea of what my channel should look like and which topics I should cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I can talk a little bit about this because this is where I started. I started to think about, so hey, what topics do I want to cover on my channel? I always knew, okay, this should be focused for IT, tech enthusiasts, and professionals. I didn't want to cover like, hey, there is a new Linux distro, let's take a look, or something like this. This is nothing that interests me.
Yeah, yeah.
But showing people how I work on my system with WSL or with Windows and Linux, I really don't care what people are using.
Mm.
I always say focus on the concepts and not on the tools. And this is what I wanted to do and show on my channel. But I didn't really know which topics I should cover. Should I cover Python? This is something I'm really used to. Or should I cover Linux? Should I cover cloud technologies? Whatever. There's so much stuff you can do. And I also have the cybersecurity background. Should I cover cybersecurity videos or whatever? I don't know. And this is why I played a lot around with different topics. And I always had this problem thinking of, hey, I should really find something to focus on, because if you do some Python videos, then you do some security videos, then you do some Linux videos, they don't really work well together, I think, right? Because
I think
development guys.
I think it depends on how you approach it.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to be like a general tutorial channel, it doesn't. I think that does definitely apply. But if it's more like, hey, here's this thing I'm experimenting with, sort of like not the topic itself is the focus. It's more like the creator and what they are learning is the focus. I think in that case, it certainly can work. But with what you're trying to get at, yeah, I fully agree that wouldn't really work.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is something I wanted to change, or I wanted to find something like a clear path where I want to go and better understand which topics I want to cover on my channel. And I really came up with those 3 ideas that are currently added to the channel banner as kind of the topics that I do on my channel. The first one is home server projects, because this is what I just love to do. I love to set up test environments, home lab stuff, and servers. I'm a beginner in that space, so there are much more, I would say, experienced creators out there who do amazing stuff. But I thought, well, this is not like a tutorial that I want to show people. This is just like a documentation, what I do. And I can do whatever I want in this field, right? Even if it's not setting up the most powerful rack server or the Raspberry Pi cluster, whatever, that will get a lot of clicks here. But just to document my process of setting up a home lab and see the process from where I started to where I am within the next years, I don't know. But I have so many ideas what I want to do with this home lab, and thought this should be a main topic on my channel, because I also see that people are liking this kind of content. And why not just make this a main part? And then I can do whatever I want in this home lab project. I can cover firewalls, I can cover Linux distros, I can cover NAS servers or network technologies. It doesn't really matter as long as it is a home server project. And the next topic is obviously tutorials, because this is what I make. I like to create tutorials about things that I've researched and learned, and I just want to teach people what I've learned, the way how I learned or experienced it, because I just don't like to go through a few hour long training course or read a documentation.
I know exactly.
I just go and try it out myself and walk my way through that. And this is the way how I like to teach people this as well. And the third topic that I also want to cover is IT career tips. So this is something that I just love to do. I had a hard time figuring out how I could do this. And it also probably takes a little bit more time until I'm a bigger channel with a more or with a higher reputation to give someone real advices in that space. But I still think like I have something to say, or my personal experience going from, I mean, we talked about this in previous podcasts where I just started from working in a call center, having nothing in the IT, and then moved my way into that IT field, and now working in a cybersecurity company, and I'm pretty happy with that. And why not just share this to people as well, my experience or tips and tricks that I've learned over the last 10 years of being in IT. And I just like to do that because this is when I can give someone real advices or share experience, this is where I can really help people change something in their career or in their life. This is something that I really want. And yeah, from time to time, I will create some videos about productivity or about certifications and those kind of things.
Yeah, yeah. I think that what you've done with the channel now actually like is working really well. I occasionally like pop in every couple of months, and I realize, geez, you've changed everything again. But
yeah,
no, I think for you it's a good thing because it gives you a lot of room to sort of experiment with how you want to sort of approach your content, and you've gotten to a point like really quickly where I think what you're producing actually is like fairly high quality, much quicker than I got to the point where I was like happy with what I was actually making. It took me, I would say, up until maybe a year ago is probably when I would feel remotely happy with anything that I've actually put up. Like looking back on it now. But I think trying out all of the stuff that you've done, trying out like new thumbnail styles and presentation styles and all of that stuff that you've been doing, I think has really helped you actually like sort of work out exactly what you want to do like really quickly. And I can see by like how quickly your channel's been growing that it seems to be working fairly well. You seem to have managed to carve yourself out a niche that I guess people want to see.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I hope so. But the numbers tell me that I do at least something right. Even if I don't quite understand it, because I still feel like a complete beginner. And just like you said, if you would look back where I started, I mean, I even can't watch these videos and tutorials, but still some people do, right? And that's why, or where I focused on since the beginning of my channel, I focused on evergreen content. I didn't really realize that because I was just trying out what I thought would make sense. And now I understand YouTube a little bit better. I understand, okay, evergreen content is going to work, and that is really helping a lot with channel growth. But it's like, hey, I still feel like a complete beginner. Before YouTube, I had no idea how social media works. I didn't have a Twitter account or Instagram. I never used that, really. Yeah, I was on Facebook, but I never used Facebook.
I only
don't
use Facebook to communicate with my parents. That is the only reason I'll ever log
exactly. And yeah, I really dived deeper into the social media world because of YouTube. And I still feel like a complete beginner. And I think people like me, or people who don't know how this industry and how that whole stuff works, we need some time to just figure it out. And it really depends on how much time do you have and how quickly you can reflect on your own work and try out new things and identify, hey, these are the things that work, these are the things that don't work, and I just need to cut them off. Depending on that, I think you're getting better and better, and you just need some time, right? I've also seen some other channels doing exceptionally well with some of their first videos because they had some kind of background experience. They probably worked for clients in the YouTube or social media space, and they know exactly what they do. Of course, those channels grow much faster because we need to go through that trial and error, and it takes some time until you see if a video works or not. I have, for example, one video that brought me into, or just made me thought about, hey, maybe I should focus more on IT career tips videos, because this is one video that is called IT Career Path, the best for beginners. And this is really, I would say, like a video, one of the earlier videos I made, but it recently got some traction after a few months, right? Surprisingly, I don't know. It didn't blow up, but it got a consistent growth, and it's consistently watched by people. And then I thought, okay, so this is content that I can make and still 1 year later, this is still relevant and people can still watch it. That makes a lot of sense. And that is where I try to focus making content on, or the type of videos that I try to make.
Yeah, I totally know the feeling about feeling like you're still a complete beginner with it. Because every time I feel like I have some semblance of an understanding of like why some video did well, I upload a video that I think is supposed to do well, and then worst performing video of the period. It's like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, why? What? How?
Why?
I don't think I will ever come to a point where I totally understand it. The people who do understand it, like the massive channels, people like Mr. Beast who can upload a viral video every single video he uploads. Like, I don't understand like how the algorithm works that well, but I would certainly like to get some of that knowledge into my brain. That would be nice. Just a little touch of it.
Well, I can recommend 2 videos. I probably will, after this podcast, search the links and send it to you, because there were some videos where I don't even know what this channel is, but it's a fairly big channel. Veritasium is this channel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
YouTuber.
Yeah.
Don't know if you watched some of his videos, but in one video he talks with Mr. Beast about this topic. This is very, very interesting. And I watched this video and another one. That was also recommended by Live Overflow on Twitter, and I talked to him about this for a while, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's a really interesting video." And this covers like the 2 types of clickbait, the type 1 and type 2 clickbait, and talking a lot about viral videos and why some videos work and some videos don't work. And one thing that was really, or the main outcome for me was like the title and the thumbnail, how important they are. And I know, like, hey, when you start on YouTube, everyone is saying this, right?
Yeah.
This is no secret. Yeah, once you just type in how to grow a YouTube channel, the first video or second you watch, everyone is saying like, hey, titles and thumbnails are important. And you think like, okay, so maybe I need to produce a nice thumbnail and the title. But it is something that is easy to understand but hard to master, I would say. Like, I now have a much deeper understanding of that topic like 1 year ago. Because 1 year ago, I just wanted to make a thumbnail that looks like other thumbnails on YouTube. Put a face on there, a nice text, and maybe show something in the background. I don't know. But with that last video, it really, or one tip that I think is really important is that when you want to make a thumbnail and title, you need to make something that appeals to people, but also which delivers, or the video needs to deliver on that impression that people got from the thumbnail. Because you can make a video, a high quality video that is awesome, but if you don't set the right expectation with your title and thumbnail, people are not going to watch it. And this is something I didn't realize. I just thought, okay, I make a great tutorial about something, and then I will pick a title that will work good in SEO. And I just focused on that. And I think this is not really good, because most of the SEO titles are really not fun or exciting to read. Yeah, there are just some keywords in there, but that doesn't really surprise people or set up an expectation or is appealing to people. So now I'm trying to work on titles and thumbnails that will set the right expectation and then deliver on that video. And that is quite hard to master, I would say.
Yeah, it sounds easy. Certainly.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds easy, but it's a thought process. And the next tip is, I can just throw that out because people are talking about this in other videos as well. You can always change your titles and thumbnails. And this is something I didn't realize. Mr. Beast talked about this in this video, where he said like for every video he's producing 3 different thumbnails, and he posts the video, and after a few days he knows this video is going well or this video is not going well. And if it's not going well, he just changes the thumbnails around and see what people are reacting to. And I didn't realize you can change the thumbnails. I mean, you can, but I always was afraid of maybe that's hurting the algorithm, or it does something, it does damage the I don't know. But you can do that. And I just tried this with one video, and it seemed to work. So it's like when you change the thumbnail, it's not going to blow up, or it's not going to give more impressions. But I think like YouTube is trying to reevaluate or reassess how the thumbnail or the title will work. And then you can actually get probably a good video that doesn't really work well because of a bad title and a bad thumbnail to work better just by changing that. And that's what I'm currently trying to work on and go through some of my old videos, which I think are actually good, but don't have much views. And maybe I just play around and change a little bit the things and see if it works. That was really helpful. That was quite interesting. I didn't know that some big, all the bigger YouTuber are doing this.
Yeah, I see occasionally like the comment section, like Linus Tech Tips, someone will be like, oh, why'd you guys change the title, or why'd you guys change the thumbnail? But I've only recently started doing the same thing myself. I haven't been changing the thumbnails, but occasionally I'll be changing the titles bit.
Yeah.
So I did a video about Apple, the Apple Store and the GPL license, and that video didn't end up doing that well. So I started like trying around different titles and stuff, and just seeing if anything was really going to sort of change with that one. I guess that topic just wasn't really that interesting of a topic in the first place to my audience, but I at least wanted to try it out to see if something would happen at least. I didn't know if anything would, but it's worth a shot if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it probably is not too much work to change the thumbnail and the title. Making a new video would probably be more work, I would say. So it's just worth a try. Even if it doesn't work, you haven't really lost something, right? You maybe a bit 1 or 2 hours of work, I don't know. But if it's going to work, it will definitely help the channel grow. So why not?
Yeah, pretty much. You were talking about audio before we started. So you were talking about the new mic you wanted to upgrade to XLR.
Yeah.
So what are you using right now?
So I'm right now using the Elgato Wave 1.
Okay.
Which is a very good microphone with a very good software. And I think you're also watching Harris Heller a lot, right? Because you're using stuff. Yeah, I also do, because he's doing great content, and it's a great resource to find out more about audio and this kind of stuff. And he always talked about XLR microphones and how good they are, and I always thought, I don't know, maybe these guys just want to make money. I don't know. You can go with a microphone as well. And then he made one video about the Elgato Wave, and then I realized, okay, so this is the microphone I want to get. This is awesome. But the problem I have with this microphone, and I didn't realize that because I didn't know how it works, is that the condenser mics, or the usual mics, you need to put in front of your face as close as you can. Otherwise, the sound quality is not good. And I found an angle with a microphone over here where it is not in the screen, or you can just I was gonna ask about that mic. Bottom of it.
I was gonna ask about your mic, because last time you had it in the frame.
Because the audio quality is much better, but I didn't want this, because I wanted to create this look of not having a microphone. Right. I just don't like it. It is, I don't know. It's a personal thing, but I wanted to create this look, and I always see that on bigger channels as well. These guys don't have a microphone, and I just wanted to figure out why. How they are doing it, because I'm playing around with this microphone and I couldn't really get it to work. And now I found an angle where it's some sort of work, but it's still a compromise between the audio quality and the look you want to create. The audio quality is not so good as it could be. I was playing around a lot with filters and compressor and gain, whatever, to make this kind of work like it does now. But the audio quality could be better with this microphone, but it's, for the look I want to create, it's the wrong microphone. I need a shotgun mic, and I didn't know this. Because I didn't know anything about audio, right? This is this is probably the mistake you make when you're just starting out and you just try and you buy some things, and then you realize this doesn't work the way that I wanted.
I started with the Blue Yeti, so I the Blue Yeti, it's not a bad mic, but it was good when it came out. There's much better options in the price range right now. Like, the Elgato Wave.
Yeah. And I just I just didn't want to make the investment into an XLR interface and microphone. But now I think my channel has reached a point where I should invest because I can.
Yeah.
From the ad revenue is enough to invest in an XLR mic, and that's fine because I always like to invest nearly 100% of all the revenue that comes into my channel goes or comes out of the channel goes directly into the channel again, just to buy some new stuff, gear, or whatever helps me to create better content. And the XLR just makes sense right now. So I just ordered the Go XLR Mini just to because I think that's a good start. And I ordered a shotgun mic, the Rode NTG4 Plus, and let's see if that works. I don't know, but I hope. But when you just started with an XLR interface, you can always just change the microphone.
Yeah.
You can always upgrade to a better one later. And this is an advantage you got over the USB mics. And yeah, I think that just kind of makes sense. And I also ordered a new camera lens because I think that camera lens I have right now, it's working.
Yeah.
But it's a very cheap lens and it doesn't really work so well in low light situation like I need. So I upgrade or I just ordered the Sigma lens. I think that's a fairly well-known lens everybody's recommending.
Is it the Sigma 1.4 that everyone?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Everyone is using that. But yeah, it just makes sense, right? I did some research. Do you have some alternatives? And no, in that price range, you really don't have any alternatives. So I think that just makes sense. And I hope that will even make the image and the audio quality a little bit better.
Yeah, I've been using my my AKG P120 for quite a while now, and like I've only really just gotten to the point where I understand what I'm doing somewhat with audio. Because I've shown it before. I don't know if I can point it at it. Can we see it? Can't see it. Nope, can't see it. You can kind of see it. There's a
yeah, the interface, right?
Yeah, there we go. Audio interface.
Nice.
So I've got a lot of room where I can like play around with stuff. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I've got a built-in EQ, built-in compressor, built-in effects mixer and stuff. And I've been trying to like work out kind of for a while, like where I want to have the mic placed, where I can get sort of like the best audio quality. I don't really like. I'm not going for that look where you don't have a mic in the frame. So I think I have more room with like where I can place the mic, but trying to get in a position where it's close enough to me while still not blocking anything like that I'm trying to work with. So like not getting in the way of my keyboard, not getting in the way of my screen, anything like that. Then also, I wanted to change around my lighting. So I want to move one of my lights to a bit more in front of me than where it is right now. And where the mic was before, if I put the light there would have been like a really bad shadow on my face. So I've been trying to work that out. Sorry?
Yeah, those problems that it's sometimes really hard to figure out.
But I've been wanting to replace this mic, but I didn't want to replace it until I dealt with like the rest of those problems. Like I keep looking at the Sigma 1.4 for my camera, and I keep looking at the Shure SM7B, and like I want to buy it.
Oh yeah.
But they're very expensive.
Oh yeah.
Like I really want a Shure SM7B, and I can afford one, and I should buy one. But if my idea is if I'm not already getting the most out of the gear that I currently have, it doesn't really make any sense to buy something better, I would say. Like if I'm if I'm still not like EQing and stuff correctly with this mic, there's no point going up to something that is more expensive if I'm not going to be using it to its full potential.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree with that. If you don't know how to use it, this was also part of the reason why I didn't go with an XLR, because I just didn't want to learn it. I just thought a USB mic might be just easier for me. It is when you are at this point and you realize, hey, I've just used everything or just tried out everything I can with the current gear, and it's not working out. I just need that. It makes sense to buy it, but as you said, if you still have room for improvement with your current gear, you can just try it or spend more time to figure out how things work, because it can be really complicated. It's like people don't see that. People just see the end result, but they don't see what pain you've gone through that to achieve that look or to get that audio working.
To be fair with the Go XLR though, like it's not like that's that complicated to work with. You have a gain slider.
I hope. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I hope that will work, but I think I can figure it out now.
You saw this. I've got like there's like I don't know like 20 knobs on this. You gotta work out which knobs actually even control the mic you've got plugged in.
Yeah, I think I can work this out. I hope.
Yeah, I wanted to get a Go XLR like that. That was going to be my option if I didn't get a mixer board. The problem though is there's no drivers for it on Linux, and when this is the problem with Go XLR, like there's plenty of audio interfaces that work great. The Go XLR is a electrical brick if it doesn't have drivers. Like it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, okay, so that does make sense. That's why I still use Windows in this case, right? It's just like sometimes it's a bit easier for those kind of things that are probably a bit unconventional, or I don't know.
Well, ultimately what I could do is I could build a Windows streaming PC if I really wanted to. Like, yeah, that would deal with all of those problems. But if I can get it to work with my current setup, I want it to work with my current setup.
Yeah, that just makes more sense. I mean, do you really want a second PC just for that Go XLR? I don't know. No. And then you need to deal with Windows. Which,
well, I have a Windows.
I don't know.
I have a Windows install on my 128 gig SSD that I open up once a week.
Yeah.
It has got
Windows updates must be painful on this one.
Yeah, they are a little bit, but it's fine. I can deal with it. There's one game that I want to play on Windows, and that's the only reason I ever boot it up. So my I have all of the software that I run like on that entire system in my start bar. It's my internet, my web browser, and the game. That's it. That's everything.
Yeah, if that's all you need, I mean that's perfect.
But I think the idea of a shotgun mic actually would be really cool. Like I've considered like trying one out at some point. Like I think it would definitely produce an interesting look, that's for sure. If you want to have like a really clean look that's just you and your background, that's the easiest way to do it. Besides going, I guess, with a lavalier mic. But then you get the problems with lavaliers where if you're moving a bit, they start rattling against your clothes, and you can get them to work.
I tried a lav mic once, and I couldn't figure out how it works, and it just. I just sent this back. I just didn't want to deal with it. But a shotgun mic, I think, just makes more sense for my setup. It's just the thing that I need. I'm still wondering why people don't use shotgun mics for live streaming. There must be something to it that doesn't seem to work quite well with live streaming, but I don't know. I will see once I got it. Maybe because of the background noise of the keyboard or something like this. I think that probably you will still hear that with a shotgun mic, I guess.
I guess it depends on the sort of content you're doing. Like, if you're doing, like, what you normally do, where it's more just chatting with the audience, I think it would work. I think it would be... Yeah, I think if it was, like, more gaming content, you might have sort of an unwatchable stream because of the background noise.
Yeah. Probably that's the problem why no one is using that. But I also think, like, when I'm recording tutorials, you would hear the typing of my keyboard. But to be honest, I kind of like that. When I create tutorials and I'm typing something to just show people this command, it just makes sense to hear the typing. So,
what are you using for your keyboard?
I'm currently using Logitech, I think, what is that, 413?
Okay.
Something like that.
Because if you had, like, you know, cherry blues or like browns or something, maybe that would be
No, I wanted to get the quiet ones. So I ordered this one with the quiet switches because I just don't like this sound. it's personal preference.
Mm-mm.
You still hear that sound when I'm recording tutorials, but as I said, I kind of like this, and I don't know if it really is distracting. I think it sometimes even help a little bit more when you hear someone typing a command that you just want to follow. Then it also makes sense to hear the typing because then you know there's something going on. So in this case, for my tutorials, I think it doesn't really is a disadvantage in this case. But obviously, when you're doing live streaming and you want to play games, then yeah, you probably don't want this. I understand, but I don't do this. I don't play games in my live stream, so
I think if you wanted to deal with the sound anyway, it wouldn't be that loud, assuming you don't have like blues or something. So you could deal with it with noise suppression and noise gating if you really wanted to get rid of the sound.
yeah, that works. I also have noise suppression on the Elgato Wave. I set this up in OBS, but the problem is it works pretty well when you don't speak, but when you're speaking and typing,
Yeah.
then it's not going to work.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you can hear it right now. It just started raining here. But it's
No,
getting
I
pretty
can't
loud.
hear
Okay. Yeah, it's getting pretty loud outside. So if anyone hears that, that's why.
Oh, okay.
It's not my my cable half plugged in or something. That would be a much worse noise. Oh yeah. That's one concern with XLR. Make sure you are very careful with the cables because
Okay.
yeah,
That's good to know.
if you don't have it pushed all the way in, violent screeching, which is not a good sound, but usually if you know what you're doing and you actually push the cable in, you'll be fine. I've just learnt my mistake once from doing that.
Oh man, audio is so complicated.
Oh,
I hate
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, audio.
Because I just want this to work. I don't want to play with that. It just needs to work.
Well, one of the
Then it's
problems
horrible.
with audio is it's hard to really tell in some cases, like, if there actually is an issue. I've got these, just for the sake of testing out audio, I've got a pair of SR850s here. These are, they're fairly cheap open backs, but they are studio headphones and do the job well enough. At least when it comes to, you know, how your camera looks, you can sort of judge whether that looks good based on like how you look at it. But sometimes with some of the more subtle audio issues, you can't really tell unless you're actually using relatively decent audio gear anyway. And
That's right.
in some cases, then you have to decide, is it worth fixing that little issue if only the people with like high-end studio gear can also hear it?
Yeah, that's probably right. I mean, in our space, it's let's be honest, I think camera gear and this kind of stuff is somehow important, but I think in our space, in the tech space, I think it's not shouldn't be your primary focus, I would say, right? I mean, the content still is good. I still see people watching tutorials with really terrible audio just because they want to know a technical topic. People are going through that. So I think we have a niche where we still have this. We don't need to have that highest gear. I still, people are still up to the, of course, everybody likes if the video has a good audio and a good video quality for sure. But I still don't think that it will make a huge difference if I got a new camera lens. People are not going to notice that probably. And even when they do, they still want to watch the tutorial. They still want to know the technical topics and don't really care if my face looks a little bit better or not. I think like that is something you can play around, but you really need to think about, hey, does it really make sense to invest these like a few hours into making this perfect instead of just recording a new video that I don't know. You always need to make that or find that balance, right?
Well, I know there are some. Oh, there's one fairly big Linux channel specifically, or I guess ex-Linux channel at this point, who records his videos with a C920 and a Blue Yeti. He has 130,000 subs. He can afford an upgrade, but it works.
Yeah, well, there's something I don't understand. Why? Okay, if you got a channel that is so big, why don't you just do that upgrade? That is something I can't understand. I mean, at some point it just makes sense.
Well, I think some people get themselves stuck in this cycle of buying upgrades for the sake of buying upgrades, but I like you can there is this I guess it's the sky is the limit with like how much you want to spend on your channel, but I the videos are perfectly fine. Like it's not like they're bad. That's the thing. The content itself is good. It's just that I think it could be better if it wasn't. Yeah, even just like honestly, even just like recording the video with your phone would look better. To be honest, like a Blue Yeti is passable, but
true.
like the C920, like it's a webcam. It's not. It doesn't look good.
No, this webcam is horrible. And I know because I use that for my meetings. I have it in the same setup, and it just looks bad. But for business meetings, that's fine, right?
Yeah, when I was in my last year of uni, I did have my I did have my camera. So I was the one guy in the Zoom call that had like a really good camera.
Yeah, that is it's nice, right? But yeah, back to the gear and the investment. I think that I still have the opinion that gear matters. But it shouldn't be the primary focus. I think that, but it's like with everything. I think everything needs to make sense, right? You need to have everything on the same kind of level, I would say.
Right.
This is my opinion, right? So if you're making bad content and you have a good camera and good microphone, it doesn't make sense to upgrade the camera and microphone. You need to learn to make better content. But if your content is good and you see it's working, and you could upgrade your camera and microphone, then it would make sense to just raise everything to the same level of quality, right? I think you always should focus on things that don't work and try to improve them.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for just because it'd be funny. If you're making like really bad Minecraft videos, please go buy a $10,000 red camera. I think that would be funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't actually do that, please. That's a car. Like, avoid that. But it would be funny. If you can somehow get your hands on a red camera, do it. Anyway.
Yeah, but this is, I would say, this is the thing with audio and gear and this kind of stuff. So some people just like to buy new things that I don't like to buy new things because I don't like to spend money.
Yeah.
I only do it if it makes sense and if I can afford it. And I made myself this promise that I would never invest I invested some of my private money once I started the channel just to buy a very cheap microphone and buy an editing software to record my phone's camera. But this is how I started. And I made myself this promise. I would not invest any more money into this channel until it makes money.
Right.
And this is how I dealt with that, and it works pretty well. So I have some other things in mind that I could buy, just maybe something that would make more sense than buying a better camera, because my camera is good. It's not 4K, but I don't need 4K, so it's fine for now.
What is your camera right now?
I have this Sony what is Alpha 5100?
Okay.
This one here. Yeah, and that's pretty good. It's a beginner camera, and I got a very cheap lens. And I think the lens upgrade would make the most sense right now instead of upgrading the camera. But then I'm fine for, I don't know, maybe for the next 2 years until the channel. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I probably would invest into a graphics tablet. I think you got a drawing tablet as well, right?
I do, yes.
So one of the videos,
It's 50,
I want to get
$50. I think you can afford the investment.
Yeah, I want to get one with a screen.
Yes, okay.
Because then I could use this as an overlay, I think, to record it for my tutorials. Because I like to draw things in tutorials.
Right.
This is something that I recently discovered, because sometimes you just need to explain architecture. For example, in my last video about Kubernetes, I wanted to explain the Kubernetes architecture, which is kind of hard if you can't visualize it somehow, right? So you need some kind of visualizing. And then I thought maybe I can just show a diagram. And I searched for a software where I can draw something or create a sheet. And this is so horrible. This is so much work. And I thought, well, if I would have a small graphic tablet just to draw something, right? This is the only thing you need to explain something. That would make so much more sense. And I could use this in so many other tutorials when I, for example, explain something about network topologies or maybe just, I did that once when I explained DNS over HTTPS or DNS over TLS, those kind of things. Just draw the packets and the protocol stacks and so on.
Yeah.
So that just makes sense. So upgrading to something like this will make the quality of the videos much better, I would say. So this would be a great investment into the channel.
I think that would be something that is unlike upgrading, like you could go and get like, you know, a $2,000 camera, $3,000 camera. I don't think many people are going to really notice that change, but something that actually does change the way you're handling the content, that I think is if there's anything you want to buy early, I think that makes considerably more sense.
Absolutely.
I don't have anything on my radar that I'm looking at like that. Like I've got some plans to use the tablet, but I didn't buy the tablet for the channel. I bought this for my own personal use, and I can recoup some of the costs with the channel. But the only upgrades I'm looking at right now are those the lens and the microphone. Once I've got those, I can't see anything else right now that I want to buy. I probably could work some stuff out, but I just, like, my problem is room. Like, there's things I would love to do, but I don't have space to do the things I would want to do.
Yeah, I get that. I have the same problem. It probably doesn't look like, but just because I've created this space behind me, exactly how I want it to look, but don't look at the rest of the room. I would love to get a standing desk, but that doesn't work. So I don't have the space for a standing desk because I'm working in the attic. That the roof is blocking that. So I can't get a standing desk. I can't raise it higher. So that's a problem. And but that's something you can change. Yeah, you need to work around this somehow. But yeah, I also don't have anything else that I want to get. Well, probably the upgrade to 4K might work at some point, but let's be honest, this is in the range where people probably don't notice so much, right?
My camera does support 4K. The problem with it is it crops in on the video as well. So if I set it to 4K, the video would look something like this. And it's just like, that's not really usable. And I can't move the camera any further back.
Why is that?
It's a cheap mirrorless camera. That's why. It's a Canon M200, so on the same price range as your A5100.
Okay. So maybe these cameras are not made for 4K. I don't know.
Well, I could make it work if I move the camera further away. That's the only way I could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't have any way I could do that. That's my issue with that. If I wanted to go 4K, I would have to get a newer camera or a higher end camera.
Yeah, the problem I have when I want to go with 4K, I probably want at some point, but then I need to get, for recording in OBS, I think I need to get 4K monitors as well, because otherwise, and then I need to upgrade my graphics card because
good luck doing that right now.
Oh yeah, that is horrible. But yeah, I need to upgrade it at some point. Hopefully, I can still wait, but yeah. When you go and you want to make that change to 4K, you need to upgrade a lot of things, right? Your monitors, your capture card, maybe your PC because it's not powerful enough.
You need your hard drive space to deal with the new footage.
Oh yeah,
4 times as large.
Then I'm in the range like 2,000 to 3,000. Yes, it's just too much right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't really need that, but maybe at some point, maybe I can set a goal when the channel hit 100K. I don't know if it ever happens, but I think it should, if I just continue to do what I do, and it may work. I don't know. Hopefully.
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, as I was saying to you on DMs, I feel like you're gonna overtake my channel very soon.
Well, I don't know. It can change anytime,
Sure,
right?
it can, but
If the numbers stay consistent, mathematically it would, because I just when I just compare the subscriber growth, I don't know when it will happen, but it really I don't care. The thing that I look when I look at the numbers really are, so how many views do I get from my videos, and the average watch time. I try to focus on those kind of things, but
Yeah.
from time to time, of course, I also compare my channel to others, because I just try to find out so what other channels are doing better or where I can improve. But it looks pretty well currently, and I think my last two videos did also very well. That was the Kubernetes video that I just published yesterday, and 1 week before that was how to protect Linux from hackers, my server security strategy. Those two videos worked really well, and I think people were really waiting for that security video. I planned to make it I already planned to make it, I think, last year or so. And I really wasn't sure about this video because I didn't want to tell anything wrong in this video.
Right.
Especially with security topics, I'm very careful what I put out there. And I wasn't really sure about the SSH topic and what I should tell in this video and what I should not tell in this video. So I really took quite a long time to figure out my opinions on that and how I could make this video interesting, because I've seen so many other videos on Linux server security where people just throw out their best practices or what they found when googling, like disabling root login, setting up SSH keys, and setting up a firewall and those kind of things, right? So that's basic. You can actually Google that in 5 minutes. It's actually not so difficult. Sometimes you hear bad advices on those forum posts and sometimes videos. Sometimes you hear really good and valuable ones. And then I thought, hey, how could I make this video a little bit more interesting or could add something new to it? Because so many channels and blog posts have covered this before. And I really don't know. But people were requesting that. People were always asking me, hey, make a video about this. And I thought, I don't know. But I think I figured out a good way to do it, because I added some of the topics that I covered on my channel, like, for example, Docker.
Right.
And I figured out like two topics with Linux server security really don't care about Docker. The first one is updates, because every security video is telling you to enable unintended upgrades for security patches, but that doesn't update any of the Docker packages, right? So how do you update your Docker images? Yeah, don't forget about this. This is something that I included in the video. Or the second one is people are always telling you, hey, enable the uncomplicated firewall and block any ports. Yeah, that's fine, but it's not working for Docker containers by default, because they are working in a different IP tables chain, and this is ignored by the uncomplicated firewall. So this is something I should tell people, right?
Right.
So it made quite a longer video than others probably, but I thought it would bring the most value to my core audience who's watching my Docker tutorials a lot, and people who are self-hosting servers, setting up Docker containers, and then they follow my security best practices. And then, of course, that should include these setups as well. So this is what I did on this video. And those videos worked pretty well. And I hope this will, this will give the channel a little bit more boost. But I really worked on those videos so hard, because they are longer than 30 minutes. And this was just so much work that I just need to make some shorter videos in the next weeks, because otherwise I just will burn out.
Yeah, those, man, I guess it's because I do like videos almost daily, but I can't even imagine doing a video that long. Like, my longest videos are usually in the range of like 15 or 20 minutes at most.
Which is already pretty long if you're going for daily content, I would say.
My general aim is around the 8 to 10 minute mark, because mid rolls. But no, I don't aim specifically for the mid rolls. It's just that most topics end up being being short enough that they fit in that time frame.
Yeah, you can't talk about everything forever, right?
Like,
it still should be valuable.
I could obviously like stretch any video out to 20 or 30 minutes if I really
Yeah.
tried to do so. I just don't think there's any value in trying to do so. And actually, that's one of the things I've been working on. One of the problems I had with my early content is I felt like I expanded out the like what I was saying way too much and didn't really get to the point that I was trying. I like how I'm over saying what I'm trying to say when I'm saying I shouldn't be. What I overcomplicate my videos. There we go. That's the short way to say that. I don't. This is the problem.
Yeah,
this is how my brain works. If I let that happen, it will just like way overthink everything and like produce whatever that nonsense just was.
Yeah, that's why I always script my videos.
Yeah.
So I write out everything that I say, except for those walkthrough parts where I share my screen and do stuff. Then I just have bullet points and then explain it. But I sometimes cut out some things that are repetitive or doesn't make sense. And then you still have a video that's times 20 or 30 minutes long. But it's not, I found out it's not really helping you if you try to make it longer just for sake of making it longer, because then people are not watching it.
Yeah.
And the average watch time is still an important factor. So you need to put in as much value as you can in a very short amount of time. That's how YouTube works, obviously, right? So you need to add some kind of value.
My metric that I'm handling this better is the fact that gradually over time, my watch time has been slowly increasing. I'm sitting around, I think it's around 4.5 minutes right now.
Yeah.
I think so, which is, I think is fairly good. It's definitely good on my channel, that's for sure.
That is good. I think, what is my
so it's
watch time?
It's gone out. It's 3:58 right now. Okay, well, ignore me.
4:30.
Okay, yep.
Average view duration for all the videos. Or maybe
recently it's more like 4:30, but over everything it's closer to 4. But I've got a lot of like early videos that are still getting a lot of views. And a lot of those early videos weren't structured as well, where people do drop off fairly early, even though they're still getting a lot of views. So it is sort of like bringing that number down a bit.
Yeah. I think what worked on my videos is really focus on the intro or the hook part. Because this is where I try to experiment, of course. Because in the past, I also had an intro. I got rid of that intro completely. This was so much work to make, but I just got rid of it because I feel it doesn't make any sense. And I also included a part where I teaser some of the content that I make in this video. So like I just summarize in 3 sentence or 4 sentence what I'm going to show in this video, and then I make or show the parts or show some small parts, just a few seconds of this video, just like people can see where I explain something with a drawing chart, or where they see some of the screen share when I'm typing commands or explaining something, so that people get a very clear idea of what to expect from the rest of this video in the first few seconds. This is what I really try to work on in the last videos, and I think that pays out very well, because then people have the right expectation right from the beginning, and I think that's going to help a lot. So that is what I try to work on, really make that first part as good as you can.
Yeah.
And then you can talk random shit. No, not really, but
like the hook is one of those things that I still don't really know what I'm doing with it, but I think that how do I describe it? Briefly describe, like, I don't know how to describe how I approach it now that I'm trying to explain it. I guess, how would you put it? Well, I used to have an intro as well, like I would do like, hey, I am this person, I make this nonsense. Here's my like video intro, all that stuff. That I cut ages ago.
Yeah, me too.
And now I guess the way that I approach it is I try to let's say I'm doing a video on I don't know, setting up Nginx. I don't know. I will explain sort of like the problem I'm having in a way that tries to, I guess, hook into like the sort of problem that like people would normally be having if they're approaching a video like that. Like here is I hope that what I'm saying makes any sense. It probably doesn't.
Yeah, and I can imagine what you're trying to say, right? I mean it. How could I explain it? I try to. It's depending on what you want to do. If you want to tell a story, that works pretty well. So I try to do that for my home server projects, for example, because then storytelling is important, right? Because it's not just about a tutorial; it's about telling what is your problem and what did you do to fix it, and then in the next parts you're going to show the people how you exactly do it, but so that people get an idea of, and you can grab people's interests in, so they can see, oh, I want to know how this works, or I want to know how he did that.
Actually,
so if you got that, I think you're pretty fine.
Actually, here's an example of something. One other thing I try to hook people in with is like maybe like a bit of a joke at the start. So I've got a video that I want to do next week. So my state has these at every like businesses like check-in things because of COVID, and I discovered a massive security flaw in them, like really big security flaw. So I'm gonna make a video on it because it's gonna be hilarious.
Oh, cool.
So I'm gonna start this video like, hey, as you probably could tell, I'm an Australian, and Australia is no stranger to absolute bodged up tech, where back in 2016, the census claimed they suffered a DDoS attack. In reality, they told everybody in the country to connect at the exact same time and didn't pay for enough server load. So, as we can see, Australia doesn't exactly know how to handle tech. This is going to be another. That'll go into like some like. Then I'll start like actually going into like the main topic. So I'll try to like, I guess, hook him with maybe some like funny anecdote that's related to the topic. I think right now I think that's working out.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a completely different approach from what I do in the hook, but it makes sense because our content is different.
Yeah, of course.
I think your idea that will work perfect for the kind of the video that you want to make.
I'll let you know afterwards what the flaw is.
Maybe maybe that's one of these videos which doesn't work at all.
It's really bad. Like, if I wanted to, I could flood the database right now, kind of bad. Oh
man.
Like, I could write a Python script in the next 5 minutes and crush this database.
Well, that sounds pretty terrible. If you sent this over?
I will be sending it very soon.
Yeah.
Where were we? We were talking about intros. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much else to say about that. One thing I did want to ask about though is I see a bunch of people with that sign that you have in the background, the one you got lit up in the background. I have no idea what those signs are called. Like this.
Which signs?
The one you got that says the digital life in the background there.
Okay.
Purple. What are those signs called? I see a bunch of people with those signs.
I don't know. I don't know what these signs are called.
How did you get one?
I just bought it from Amazon. I think you can switch out the letters.
Right.
Right.
What did you search for to find these signs?
I don't know.
I think you bought one. Don't remember anymore. Okay, that. For anyone
my wife showed that to me because she said, "Hey, that would look good in your videos," and I thought, then just buy it.
Because I've been like, I don't have anywhere to put it right now, but at some point I want to have like an actual like, things in the background. And that's it's the least original thing on the entire planet. Everybody has one of these signs, but I still like them.
Yeah, I still think about adding more stuff in the background. I added some of my Lego stuff in the background. I also want to add a picture. Yeah, I just ordered a picture I want to put in the background from Mr. Robot series, so that will work pretty well, I would say, as a background.
I've still only seen the first season. I need to watch the rest of it.
Oh man, you need to watch it. I think I told you last time.
Probably did. I really need to get around to it. I really liked the first season. It was good. I've just had other things preoccupying my time, like other things I want to watch, or doing things that are actually productive, not sitting down watching
making videos. Obviously,
yeah. It's not like
throwing out so many videos.
It doesn't take
and
that
still
long.
working. Yeah, that's crazy.
People will say, "Oh, it's crazy you make daily videos." Like I don't make daily videos. I record in bulk. I'm not a crazy person. Like there's a reason why whenever a news topic happens, I'm like 4 days late to it because I'm not gonna like record on a Sunday. That's not happening.
I tried that once to catch up with some of the topics that were.
But you do really long videos though. So that's
topics.
Like
yeah,
and really, I guess your videos take a lot more research than what I'm doing, and that can come down to the fact that you do less videos, so you can spend more time preparing them.
Yeah.
How did that experiment go?
Yeah, I don't really aim to make those videos long. It just turns out that they need to be that long when I research a topic. So I don't go for, hey, I want to make this video 30 minutes videos long or 20-minute video. I just go into a topic that interests me or that I want to learn. Like Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a good example. That's a topic that I recently started to learn because, that's just a huge topic everybody is using. And I explained it in the video why I think Kubernetes is really important for the IT industry. And this is a topic I thought I just need to learn. So I started to read and research about this. And I thought about, so how can I explain this to people in simple words, right? And I already tried to simplify it. But it turns out that you can explain this topic in like 10 or 15 minutes. I've seen videos try to do that, but then I think you only scratch the surface and people don't really get the whole idea of it. So you really need to make a video like 30 minutes long to explain or to just get people started with that, I guess, right? And other videos like I made a video once about, what is that? I don't know. Where is this video?
That's how I feel about most of my videos. Oh, did I make that video? What is it?
And you have even more videos, right? So this was one video about Windows 11 TPM. I just wanted to make a video about it. And this video, I can't make 30-minute videos, 30 minutes long, of course. It is 10 minutes long, which is already kind of longer than it needed to be. But I thought I should just take some time to explain some of the features that TPM provides for Windows 11. So this were like, I saw people always making videos about the basic things like, hey, what is the TPM? And why it is terrible, right? So I always watched videos like this, right? But as a security guy, I wanted to find out, so there must be a bigger reason behind it, so, right? And there must be some features they need. And I couldn't really find a good video explaining all the different things, so I tried to make one myself. But this is like a shorter topic, right? And I also thought, well, it took me too long to bring this video out because I didn't see much traction on this video. And this is probably because my video was just one of, I don't know, 30, 40 videos that came out in the first days, and I released it like 2 weeks after because I really took my time to research that and really try to find out, so what are the features in TPM? They mentioned something like Azure attestation. So what the hell is that? And all this kind of stuff, because I don't want to talk about something that I don't understand. And then I thought, okay, so that probably doesn't work well for news topics, right? So I don't know. But just what I wanted to say, so I don't aim for a specific time. It just is completely depending on the topic that I want to cover.
I do try to aim to keep them around the 12-minute mark. Like at the most, that's my general goal. I that's partially just to keep my sanity, so I don't end up recording like 30-minute videos multiple times a day.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of topics, at least a lot of the stuff I'm doing, if I go above that point, it's sort of stretching like the interesting parts of the video. Like I could, like with TPM, you could make a half-hour video just tracing out like the transistor diagram if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But with a video like that, I think something like that probably does make sense to be around like the 10-minute mark, because that's while people do have much shorter attention spans, 10 minutes is plenty of time to give you a good enough understanding of most things. Like, it's not going to give you the most in-depth understanding for sure.
That's right.
But it's enough. Like, if you structure your video well, it's certainly enough time to get your point across.
Yeah. I just have... I don't really know if I have any video that is shorter than 8 minutes. This is a magic mark for mid-rolls, but it's not like I'm not focusing on these mid-rolls. I just think that most topics just need that time for explanation. Yeah. And I just don't make videos about those short topics. That is quite funny because I experimented a little bit with YouTube Shorts.
Yeah,
and
have you stopped doing that now?
Yeah, because there's a very simple reason. Because I don't like watching shorts.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like, and it's like, hey, why should I make a video format that I don't enjoy watching myself? That doesn't make any sense at all. And I think it was just the wrong intention to just use a feature for growth that I wouldn't enjoy watching myself. This probably was just a dumb idea. Because I didn't understand how to use shorts. And I see many other channels doing this, using YouTube Shorts, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it really makes a huge difference. And I've never seen a channel that blow up because of shorts. Probably there are some examples, but only if they make specific kind of content. I think content that I make doesn't really work well in shorts. It just doesn't make any sense.
What I've been seeing recently is I've been seeing a lot of the more like TikTok style content, like not the dance videos, the more like, hey, here's some like 50-second science video, stuff like that taking off. Or there's one channel that showed up my recommended, the dude who works in an ice cream shop, and he just like does 50 seconds of like making ice cream and stuff like that. And the stuff like that like channels like that explode like massively. There was also
I can't imagine that.
This is a weird one. It was rating anime characters based on how they would perform in a bodybuilding competition. I don't know why it existed, but it worked really well. And stuff like that I think works really well for shorts. And the other stuff I think works is gaming clips. Like if you're taking live stream clips, I think, because those already were basically shorts anyway. A lot of them were under a minute long. So it's basically just taking them out of the regular YouTube algorithm and putting them into a separate one. And from what I'm seeing, like shorts are doing gaming shorts are doing really well. I only use shorts on my gaming channel right now. And that channel is sitting around 300 subs. And I've got multiple videos that were uploaded to shorts sitting above like 1,000 at this point, which is pretty large for that channel.
Interesting.
And I have noticed it lead to channel growth, but I don't know whether that growth translates in, because I only live stream on that channel besides the shorts. I don't know if that growth is going to translate into live stream growth. That's something I'm still experimenting with.
Yeah, I think you hit the right point here, or the two main complaints I have about YouTube Shorts, or why I don't use them anymore. First is they don't really work well for educational content. I would say for entertaining content, perfect.
For
YouTube
edutainment
Shorts,
stuff, I think it works well.
yeah, that's perfect. But I could imagine making some entertaining videos in
Yeah.
YouTube Shorts. I definitely could find something, but does the view or do the views or the new people you get really translate well with the rest of your content?
Mm-hmm.
Because the intention why they watched your short and why they subscribed to your video was this short,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of content. And it's really hard. When I learned once in social media, it's really hard to translate people to other form of content or to other form of platforms. Because this was not the reason why they subscribed to you in the first place.
Yeah.
The reason why they subscribed to you in the first place because they watched a piece of content, they enjoyed it, and they want to see more of that.
Right.
So when I would make an educational YouTube short about, I could make this, right?
Yeah.
For example, Docker container update images. Yeah, I could just tell in 1 minute why you should always update your Docker images and how to do that. It's not a problem. But when you watch a video like this, yeah, I don't know. For educational content, it probably wouldn't work well. And would those guys watch the other videos of the channel? I don't know. So for my channel, it really doesn't make any difference at all. And when I see at the when I look at the views, okay, so the YouTube Shorts, they got some views, right? But that doesn't help my channel in any way. So the views don't.
Well, yeah, shorts aren't monetized at this stage either.
Yeah, that's the next problem. So it doesn't really help so much the channel. At least not my channel. So then I just got rid of that. And the other thing or then the main reason was really I tried to find out, hey, what do the people do who watch YouTube Shorts? And basically they open YouTube on their phone, go to YouTube Shorts, and I watched some of the shorts just to find out what is in there. And there's so much stupid garbage content. I just don't know why I should watch this. This is like when I watch TikTok or Instagram Reels. This is just I watch that and then I think, oh man, why should I waste my time with that, right? And I close this. And
you know what this
I think
is?
there's no point of making shorts myself.
This is called getting old. This is called getting old and not understanding what the kids like.
Yeah, that's right. But it's like, hey, if I don't like it myself, why should I make this?
Totally fair.
No.
Like the only reason I do it with the gaming channel is because I sort of like that's the channel I don't really care about. I was gonna play some games anyway, so I might as well stream them. And I just sort of wanna see like what effect shorts actually will have.
That's interesting.
If they do nothing, hey, they do nothing, I'm gonna keep streaming. But if they do lead to some growth, like what I can say is the channel has gained a lot of subscribers since I started doing shorts. And there has been some growth when it comes to my live stream viewers, but I'm not sure if those viewers are coming from the shorts or coming from my main channel, because I advertise on my main channel as well when I do a stream.
Yeah, okay.
So it's hard to work out exactly what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I think they're worth experimenting with, like, if you have a gaming channel. If for gaming channels, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say there must be a point to it, right? Otherwise, people wouldn't use this. But I still feel like the experience watching this short form content for me just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
On any platform, it doesn't matter if it's on Instagram or on YouTube. By the way, I started making content on Instagram as well, because I just recently figured out a way that I could make Instagram content that would make sense for me personally. Because I just don't want to throw out the same kind of content on another platform.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense at all, because people can just watch the videos. But for example, I recently did a lot of diagrams or visual things, right? So this is a perfect idea for making an Instagram post. And I think that could make sense. I'm experimenting with that because I feel like I also want to be active on other platforms as well. YouTube is still the main platform, obviously, but I absolutely love Twitter, for example. Twitter is a great platform where I spend also a lot of time figuring out how I can create content there. And Instagram I just recently got into, because I think that is something I see a lot of developers are on Instagram making these kind of content there, or they sometimes make their setup content. There's some actually good content for developers on Instagram, and I thought, well, for DevOps and sysadmin guys and those kind of thing, there I haven't really found so much. So maybe I just try it out and see how it goes. But the Instagram Reels is like, I still don't know if I would make Reels.
Reels are what is Reels?
That is like YouTube Shorts.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's basically the same. Just like I think YouTube started making shorts because TikTok raised, and then Instagram probably just try to adopt any form of content that they see on other platforms.
That's what
it's
YouTube's
crazy
doing
they have
right now, basically.
Yeah, but I think that is what we will see in all social media platforms at some point, that they all will try to offer those types of content. Like I see like short form content, I see long form content. Oh yeah. Nice. And I see live streaming content. And you can see on all social media platforms, they have some kind of offering that for that kind of content. On Instagram, they have Reels. They also have live streams, and they have longer videos with IGTV. So they're basically doing everything. YouTube is doing the same. They now have live streaming and shorts. And Twitter also has Twitter Spaces and live streaming.
YouTube also has the temporary content as well, like the stories.
Oh yeah, the stories, exactly. Yeah, that's something that you see. Like all social media platforms, they sometimes will offer the same kind of content, right? I would say. And live streaming is probably the next big thing that would be interesting to take a look at, right? I don't know. You also do a lot of live streaming, right?
I stream 3 times a week.
Yeah. Whoa, this is 3 times a week. Yeah. I do that once a week on YouTube, and I try to experiment with Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah.
But I just thought it just makes more sense to go on YouTube, where my core audience is.
I personally, I restream, so I'm on YouTube, Twitch, and DL at the same time.
Do you think that helps your channel?
I've noticed some interesting growth happening with Twitch. Twitch is a weird platform. YouTube, made by sensible people, has an algorithm that can recommend stuff. Twitch orders by number of viewers. I don't know how anyone finds my channel. People have found it somehow, but
because of YouTube, probably.
No, there's been a couple of people who just found it on Twitch. They didn't even know I had a main channel, and I was really confused.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is probably because you're streaming in science and technology, or in just chatting.
If I'm doing my main channel streams, I do science technology.
Yeah. Well, that's not highly saturated. And
I also tag it with Linux as well, so if people are looking for specifically Linux content,
that's interesting. Yeah, I figured out that this kind of content would probably work good on Twitch, because on Twitch you only see developer science and technology streams. A lot of game development streaming and those kind of things, but it's very rare that someone streams about Linux or about things that I would do. Would probably work on Twitch. Yeah, that would be interesting.
I'm still experimenting with Twitch. Like, I don't understand Twitch as a platform. It's a very weird place.
Absolutely, it's a weird place.
I like being there. I like seeing like the weird Twitch subculture sort of approach my channel slowly. And there's a couple of people I've seen sort of find me on Twitch and then also check out my main channel stuff, which is it doesn't happen all the time, obviously. Most people stick to one platform, but I think it's certainly worth experimenting with. Like, there's no downside, really, of doing restreaming.
Yeah, that is right. So I would love to stream on Twitch again, but I still feel that it doesn't really make sense if I don't have the time for streaming.
Of course. Well, yeah, don't
That's
just stream
the main problem.
If you can't stream, but if you're going to stream anyway.
But I sometimes watch Twitch. There are a lot of interesting creators currently. I mainly watch German creators talking about politics right now. There's a lot of talks about politics in Germany and just chatting, and they make it interesting, right? And something you can relate to that you just want to watch. I have a hard time watching science and technology streams on Twitch, though, because most of these guys just share the screen while they're programming, which is kind of boring to watch, to be honest.
people have asked me to do programming streams, and I know, like, I have some friends who do programming streams as well, and
Yeah.
I find them mind-numbingly boring because there's two problems you have with
Exactly.
programming streams. One is the guy programming, either he will focus entirely on the stream, entirely on the development and not talk to the stream, or focus entirely on the stream and not get any development done.
This is exactly the experience I had because I watched some of the streams and thought, this is something I could also make. Yeah, I'm developing my Python Discord bot. Why not stream that? So and then I thought, this is so horrible. And people were not watching those kind of streams because they are boring. Because if I focus on the chat, I can't do anything in Python. I can't focus on this stuff. And I just, maybe I write a few lines and then I'm done for the day. Or when I focus on programming, then people, it's boring to watch because you can't interact with the audience, which is the main reason why you should do live streaming. So programming streams doesn't work. What works for my channel is when I live stream about content that I cover on my videos.
Yeah.
And then I randomly switch to other topics. So random things or Q&As or this kind of stuff just to connect with my audience and try to find out, hey, when they watch some of my videos, what are the questions they have? Or maybe they have some other suggestions. Just talk to people. And this works pretty well for my live streaming content. But programming streams, I don't know. I don't try it out anymore.
I've got an experiment coming soon. So one of my friends wanted to do a programming stream, and what she wants to do is a pair programming stream, which I think might actually work out kind of interestingly, because then you still have that interaction going that wouldn't have been there if you're just programming by yourself. I don't know how it's going to go, but I think that pair programming might possibly work.
Yeah, that is someone in my community also suggested that, but I couldn't go into that because of the time.
Sure, yeah.
I would like to do. So one thing that I could imagine, I would really love to do that, but I don't know if that would work, is a co-working stream. So I've seen other people doing this. They basically just do their usual work with the Pomodoro technique, for example. They spend like a few 30 minutes working, and then they spend like 5-minute break or 10-minute break to talk to the chat. And then you can watch the stream, because this is what people literally do all the time. They turn the stream on while they're working or doing other things. And you can work together with those guys. I've seen other people doing this. It's kind of interesting. I would love to do it, but I'm not sure if the company I'm working for would allow this.
Yeah, that's the big concern with
probably not. So this is something that I would really love to do. Maybe once I go full time, I would do that, because then I could just stream when I'm researching topics for my videos, and I can make like focus sessions, and then from time to time talk to people about that, and people could watch the stream while they're working. This would be awesome, I guess. But it's like, hey, don't have the time. It's just it's something that is on my wish list for I don't know when.
Yeah, programming co-working, that's kind of weird. But I think when it's something that the chat can sort of help you out with, when it, like, programming, I think it doesn't work as well, because explaining algorithms with someone in chat's kind of difficult. But what I want to do coming up very soon, people are going to keep bothering me about it until I start it, is I want to do a Linux from scratch series.
That is interesting, yeah.
And the reason why I think that'll work is because there's going to be points where I get stuck, and people in chat, I know there's going to be other people there who have done it before, who can give me some advice on what might work. And if they have an idea and I have a different idea, there can be like a bit of a back and forth there. And I think that, like, I've already tested that theory out by doing a Gentoo install stream. So I think it should work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that will be interesting. You need to tell me if that works, because I could imagine that will work pretty well.
I don't know,
because if I think you just need a topic where you can interact with your audience, right? And it can be anything, but people need to feel to be part of something, right? If you just stream what you're regularly doing, I think no one will care about it. This is why game streaming usually, if people just imagine they become full-time streamers by just streaming while they're playing computer games, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
Because
that's one of the problems a lot of people have when they go into streaming. That's why I didn't start streaming back when I first started making videos. I wanted to become good at being entertaining, and then I would
yeah.
do streaming. A lot of people sort of take it the other way
Okay,
around,
yeah.
where they start streaming and then try to be
Yeah.
entertaining and don't have any idea
Yeah.
how to do it. If you can't
Yeah.
entertain people with like a 5-10 minute video, how do you expect to do it for a 3-hour live stream?
Yeah, that's right. That's probably right. But I feel like my experience is that most of this stuff comes just from the interaction with the community, and this is kind of the hurdle. The problem is really when I go live, and I had some of these streams where just like 10 people watched. I don't know what to tell, right? I mean, I can randomly stream about something, but then it's not entertaining, it's not interesting. But once you get a few more viewers, like 20, 30 viewers, once a stream I got 50 viewers, which is kind of crazy. I don't know what happened this day. But there were so many people asking questions, commenting in the chat, and it was so much fun because I could always interact with these guys and could answer questions, or someone just said, "Hey, did you know this?" And I don't know. Maybe just let's look that up on Google and just explore this together with the community, something like this. And some stupid topics just come out of nowhere. If you have, or if you pass that threshold, that you have enough people in the chat that can interact with you, and then it becomes much easier to stream. But that is kind of hard because when you're a beginner, you have no viewers. So
Yeah.
can you get past that hurdle? That is so hard. So
That's why I say it's important to know how to be entertaining, because if you can't entertain an empty chat room,
that's right.
Then like you're not gonna like. While it's certainly easier to, entertain people when there are people to bounce off of, but you can't expect people to be there for you to bounce off of. So you sort of have to.
No, that's right.
You have to be entertaining when you have to be entertaining to an empty room, basically, which is very difficult sometimes.
I think it all comes down to you need to learn how to make good content. And it can be anything, right? It can be anything, but you need to somehow learn it.
Yeah.
And that's good. If you haven't done it before, on YouTube, it is the best experience to learn it, in my opinion. On live streaming, it's really hard because you have so many hurdles. It is live. You need to talk to a camera. Sometimes you're just talking to yourself because nobody's watching. I think it is much easier to make a YouTube video and start with that than start as a streamer. That is why I personally, even if I would like to make more live streaming, I wouldn't call myself a streamer. I would call myself more a content creator. And live streaming is just a supplemental piece of content I can do on my channel to interact with the audience and so on. But it's like, hey, being a content creator or making videos, that is probably the primary focus. And that is probably easier to start with, right? So at least it was for me, because I just, I really didn't thought about this so much. I just watched videos on YouTube and thought, hey, I could do the same, right? And try to figure out how it works and created some basic tutorials and just uploaded it. And what will happen is nobody will watch it, so you get no feedback if it's good or bad, right? And you just upload the second and the third video and just try it again. And at some point you will realize how it works. On live streaming, it's kind of hard because, if nobody's watching you, how can you improve? How can you get feedback? I don't know. So I think, therefore, maybe people have a hard time doing live streaming. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know if that's the same for other people, but for me, it was really hard.
That's why I feel like it's really important to have some people say, like, I'm way too hard on myself. Hard on myself in like the way I criticize my videos. But I think that that's something you need to have, especially if you have like my community. I don't know why they're really supportive and most of the time don't point out the problems that I have in like a lot of the content. You have the random new person who does, but the core audience for really nice people. And I need someone to be there to tell me that I've done something wrong. And if no one else is going to be able to do that, I need to be the person who does that.
I I fully agree with you. I had this discussion yesterday with my wife, the exact same discussion, because I was working on my Kubernetes video, and I showed her the thumbnail and said, "Hey, I'm not quite happy with the focus of the video, with the title. I need to work on this." And she said, "Hey, are you happy with the video?" And I said, "Yes, the video is good, but I still think there are some things that I could have done better." And she said, "Hey, if you are happy with the video, that's fine." And I said, "No, it's not fine, right? Because I need to work on this.
Yeah.
I need to know what I can improve for the next video. And if you don't have that, I think you will have a hard time improving yourself. So you need to be that, or you need to criticize yourself, right? The main fault you should not make is it shouldn't hurt you, right? You shouldn't make the assumption that when you do something bad, that you are a bad person, right? Or you're not worth, or you're maybe you push out a video, you get a bad comment, and you feel like, hey, I did a terrible mistake, and I'm not as good as other creators or whatever. I sometimes have these feelings, but I always need to remind myself of, hey, right, I'm worth as a person, no matter how many videos I make or how many people like my content, right? This is not depending. It's just like you need to somehow work on the videos, but don't take it personal. This is something that is sometimes hard, but if you or how can I say this? This is something you need to work on. If this is really a problem you have, and I can admit I have this problem from time to time. When someone comments on my videos, I have no problem with these stupid comments. For example, when I made a video about Linux, why I switched from Linux to Windows. This video got a lot of hate.
Yeah,
right?
I can imagine.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. I still don't know why, but some people just don't like the fact that I don't use Linux anymore. I don't know. But when I got those stupid comments like, hey, Windows is bad and blah, 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 I think like, yeah, okay, just, I don't care. But when they criticize specific technical things on my content and I know they are correct, then it's hurting me. then it's much harder to get over it because I know these guys are right and I did something wrong. So then I have a hard time working with this. But I still feel like you need to ask these questions. So what could you improve and how could you make the next video just better?
Absolutely.
Just to summarize it.
I think is one of the big problems with being a streamer. When you're just making regular content, you almost certainly have to go back and edit it. That's something you can completely avoid as a streamer. You can do a 3-hour stream and not review anything you've done. You are forced to review what you've done if you just make a regular video. So if you maybe misspoke somewhere or you didn't pronounce something the way you wanted to pronounce it, you didn't put the inflection point exactly we wanted it to be, you can very clearly see all of these points where you can improve upon.
Yeah, that is right. I probably should watch my live streams more. I usually don't do that because they are then just too long to watch.
Of course, yeah.
But I just recently started to try to pick some clips from my live streams and add them as an end card for my videos sometimes. And then I'm forced to do that. And I sometimes think like, oh man, what did I say there? But it's like live streams are, I would say, you don't usually review all of what you've said there. When you try to pick some clips, you sometimes need to go through that. And I just want to, what I probably want to get is something like a button that I can push to add a marker somewhere. This is something I would really love to get, to just add some clips from the live streaming. And you obviously think more about, hey, preparing for these live streams. This is something that I recently started to do because I think you still need to prepare when you talk about some topics. So in the past, I did some random topics for my live stream. I just random stuff. all the same, the generic thumbnails on YouTube. And I thought I need to change this somehow, because there's no point of watching the live streams if I just talk about random stuff, or every live stream is a Q&A and it's all the same thumbnail. Then people are seeing that and saying, oh yeah, he's live again, but hey, probably not interesting or whatever. So I thought about making the live streams related to my last video. So I go live every Thursday on YouTube. I release a video every Tuesday. So I can make this live stream related to my video that I just released 2 days ago. Because then the most people in my community have watched this video already and they are ready to talk about it. So this week, or for example, or the week... I don't know when you release this video, but for example, I did this video about Kubernetes. So I tried to come up with a topic.
This will be out Thursday next week.
Okay, all right. So then it would be the
So you'll be doing a live stream today sometime.
Tomorrow.
Today when this comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So and when for example, I did this video about Kubernetes. This is like a tutorial, but I thought about some people might have questions, so how they should use it or why they should use it. So I thought about talking about, do you need Kubernetes at home? Do you need to set up a Raspberry? Because I've seen other people doing this, setting up Raspberry Pi clusters with Kubernetes, and people are always asking, so what should I do with that? So maybe explore this topic a little bit more. So when you want to host that at home, or if it really makes sense, in which cases it could make sense and how you're approaching that. And I also could research some things or suggestions from the community as an idea for upcoming videos. So I think that could be interesting for a live stream, and try to make this as a topic. But then I also need to prepare this a little bit, right? I need to maybe search a few links or some other stuff that I want to show to people, or I want to discuss or go into that. And then it's becoming much easier to create an appealing title and thumbnail for this live stream. It's much easier to talk when there's nobody watching and there's nobody commenting or chatting. So that is something that I recently started to work on, and I started to explore, because I think that just naturally makes sense for the channel that I make and the content that I push out there. So we will see how that goes.
I think there's really... That right there sort of demonstrates the big difference between our channels. You have this focus on making informative content, and you want to make sure your live streams link back to like the other stuff you're doing. I guess the best way to describe mine would be more... It's closer to a story time channel. That's I think that's a better way to put it. Like, I do tutorials, I do reviews, but the general stuff that I'm doing, like, let's see what I've got on my list right now. What did I record today? I don't even remember. So let's see. I've got a video coming out about the fake privacy of encrypted group chats. Basically the idea is that if you have an encrypted chat and it's a public chat, it's not really encrypted, because literally anyone in that chat could screenshot it, and it doesn't matter if it's encrypted.
Yeah, that's a great topic.
I've got one about... So there's a lot of people who keep calling... who want to apply like the Linux model of stable releases and rolling releases to Windows, and there's like this weird argument about whether Windows is a rolling release or not.
I guess it is to some point, I would say.
And I've got a couple other videos like of that nature. So my videos are more like, hey, here's a thing I've been thinking about this week. Here's my thoughts on it, or something along those lines. And then my live streams sort of follow that same sort of idea. It's not like I sometimes I will do sort of more informative live streams where I'm like, hey, let's sort of go over installing Gentoo, or let's look at the issues that exist with the Arch Linux wiki. But other times it's just like, hey, I'm gonna get some vodka and we're gonna drink for a couple hours and play video games. And I think that works for like what I'm trying to do. But it's if I was to do like that sort of live stream on a channel like yours, no one would really care about that. But that's like that's the sort of stuff that I've sort of built up with over the past 2 or so years of me making content.
Exactly. And I have a hard time figuring out how to integrate those kind of things into my content, because That's what we chatted about the last days. I think like I believe that you have a very, very strong relationship with the audience because people are following you for the stories you tell, for you as a personality, and not just for the content or for the informative content you push out there. The informative content is what people probably keeps watching. But what makes people subscribing to a channel? I would assume that it's more your personality and your
Well, I try to aim for
your
more of like
opinions.
an edutainment style, if we can want to go with that terminology.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say like this is a reason. So I have the problem on my channel that I mainly focus on tutorials, or I did focus on tutorials, and I always had this idea of what is the reason that people watch another tutorial on my channel? So maybe when this is a related tutorial, okay, they probably do. But I had this problem in the past that I covered too many different topics. And there is no point of watching a Python tutorial and a week later watch a tutorial about cybersecurity that is not in any way related to that Python tutorial. And I also had a hard time figuring out that people who are watching programming tutorials are completely different people than watching operations tutorials. Maybe you can make content about DevOps to bring those two worlds a little bit easier together. But the audience are quite different. I figured it out when I went on Instagram and followed some of the developer content creators on YouTube and Instagram. They make completely different style of videos, like the tech content creators I knew. And then I realized, okay, I have a problem here. I need to somehow find. I need to find my place in that world. I need to somehow establish who I am and what I do a little bit more, and show a little bit more my personality and things that I do, so that people have a reason to follow me as a person and watch the content that I make. And when it's a Kubernetes tutorial, when it's a cybersecurity tutorial, whatever it is, people want to watch it because of me, because I'm explaining it and not somebody else. But this is hard. I think it's really hard, especially when you're just making tutorials. And I also think that will take more time because you need to establish your reputation somehow. And I think of how I could integrate some kind of storytelling or personal stuff into my videos, and I have a few ideas, but I don't feel quite ready for it because I don't have the knowledge and the experience to make this content as I want it to be. But that's exactly what I'm working on the next. I would say that is the goal for until the end of this year, maybe even for next year, to bring my channel or to raise add a little bit more personality into this stuff and show a little bit more of myself and what I'm doing and my experience to go along with the long-term goal of the content of my channel. This is you can see I put a lot of thought process into that because I think it's really important. So, but yeah, it is when you're just making tutorials, it's kind of hard to achieve that. So I think I need to change something. But yeah, we will see how that turns out. It's like the goal for the next year.
Well, I think you can look at it the same way as like with review channels, for example. Take Harris Heller. There's tons of other people who review microphones and webcams and stuff, but you watch a Harris Heller video because it's Harris Heller, or you watch an Epos Vox video because it's Epos Vox. You don't just watch it because of the hardware they're looking at. Or Linus Tech Tips, for example. Like, that's another great example of that. You don't watch, like, there's tons of other channels that do the exact same thing that they do, but you watch it because of the personalities that they've sort of cultivated. And I think that if you put enough effort into making that change, I think you can make it happen. But I honestly can't give you advice for it because that's been the direction I've been taking since the start. So I don't know how you would shift into it.
Well, I have some ideas. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I think like show something about my life or my work. I think with the goal that I've set for this channel in terms of topics like home server projects, that would be a perfect fit for that, because then I could show something about my personal projects or about what I try to achieve.
Mm.
And not just tutorials, but also show a little bit behind the scenes in the videos. And of course, also career tips, because then I could tell much more about my personal experience when going into IT. And it's not like I don't want to be the Harris Heller of tech world or something like this,
Sure.
but it's kind of the. I got some ideas or inspiration from his kind of videos I want to focus on. So this is something I want to slowly start integrating into some of my videos, and yeah, we will see how that goes. I don't know. Maybe it goes well, maybe not. But that's what you have to do. You need to experiment and find other ways of exploring new things. Because if you just continue to do what you do and you don't change, I think that may work for a few years, but then probably it doesn't make any fun, or you just do the same stuff and it's boring. People's attention span is short, right? You always need to come up with new things, I guess.
Well, that's as good a point as any to end off the podcast. We're just passing 2 hours right now. And I've got to get ready for work at some point. So we probably should end it off. So do you have a channel that people should go check out? Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Let me just check.
I actually don't have one myself now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I probably should have prepared for that.
That's fine. I don't prepare either. I just put people on the spot.
I just think about who did I do a shout out last time.
Who did you show last time? I don't remember.
I think it was Michael Levan. Then I also had the Real Geek. The Real Geek. I think that was your shout out last time.
Yeah, you shouted him the first time, then I shouted him the next time. I forgot. You know, if you don't have one, I can give you one.
No, I don't have anyone specific. I probably. Oh no, let me check. I have someone, and I forgot him last time on Twitter. I just need to find his channel.
Well, you know, because we mentioned him earlier, go watch Live Overflow. Great channel, makes amazing videos.
Oh yeah, Live Overflow is awesome. I watched him I think that was. I wouldn't say like the beginnings, but a few years ago, I started watching some of his. Even if I don't watch all of his videos because they are really specific to pen testing, which is not my area, to be honest. But I just like the way how he makes videos.
I find them really interesting. Like, I don't have any interest in doing pen testing myself, but I love the idea of like what he's doing. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's great.
You also
channel.
inspired me a lot because he's German and making English content, so that is also some relation we have. So there's one channel I want to give a shout out because I forgot him last time. That is Coder Dave.
Coder Dave.
And he is making DevOps content on YouTube.
More and more teams have adopted linters and
started playing the audio. Oh, and your camera's now disappeared. Okay, well, no, that's back. Okay, we're good. Yes.
Okay, great.
Coder Dave. Yes, I've got it open now.
Yeah, awesome.
So he's got some. So what are you saying? He does DevOps stuff?
DevOps stuff, yeah. A lot of cloud stuff, DevOps, GitHub, secrets, tips, and tricks. There's a lot of great stuff on his channel. I like the way how he laid out his channel. So you got some nice playlists there. If you want to get into DevOps, there's a playlist with many videos about this. So that's really cool. So if you're into that, because we discussed DevOps topic in the beginning a little bit, so this is definitely something you want to watch if you want to get into that space.
Yeah, and I can see that even though like he's got a very small channel, he's got the way he frames his content is really good.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
That's right.
That actually is considerably better than I'm doing. Jeez. And why is everyone just way better than what I'm doing?
Maybe because you criticize yourself too much.
Maybe. It's fine. I'm working on stuff. We're going to move the lights around, hopefully make it look better. I'll see what I can do. You inspire me to work harder. Every time I talk to you and everything looks 10 times better than I can do, you inspire me to make my stuff look better.
I'm happy if that helps you in any way, so that's fine then.
It absolutely does. So, where can people find you?
Yeah, on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram as well. So
everything is just The Digital Life?
The Digital Life, yeah. But my Twitter and Instagram is called Christian _TDL for The Digital Life.
Right. I forgot about that. I will have it linked in the description down below.
Yeah,
that'll be the easiest way to find it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do you have anything else you would like to say?
No, I've said so many things. It's always inspiring and exciting to talk to you, and thank you so much for this podcast. I really enjoy that, and I usually also listen on that on Spotify. You probably should mention that as well. I just recently found your podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, I am awesome. Everywhere. You'll pretty much anywhere that takes an RSS feed, you'll find me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so do the outro for the podcast, Brodie, not the main channel. If you want to find this podcast as an audio release, the audio release is available basically anywhere. The video release is on YouTube and Odyssey. I've got my main channel, that is Brodie Robertson. I upload Linuxy videos. I guess we call them storytime videos. There is a video coming... Actually, wait, it's going to be out. There's a video that came out at the start of this week that is going to be about the 30th anniversary of Linux. So check that out if you have not seen it. I didn't realize it was going to be today, otherwise I would have got it out earlier. But it will be out by the time this comes out. I've got a gaming channel that is Brodie Robertson Plays, upload 5 or so YouTube shorts and 2 live streams. And I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Nothing else from you? Do you want...
No.
Give me an outro.
Oh man, you got me there. But yeah, thanks for watching. Awesome podcast. And yeah, if you have time, check out my channel.
Yeah, please go do that. Please go check out Christian's channel. His channel's great. Cool.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and I see you soon. Take care.
See you later.
Bye bye.